I remember when I was first starting out a business, I'd probably spend like 80% of my time, 90% of my time in my head, avoiding things, thinking about things, worrying about things. You know, I'd have a client I would need to email, and I would spend so much time basically procrastinating that and putting it off, and then thinking of excuses, but then thinking, oh, it's been too long since I've emailed them, so I don't know if I should. And I remember this the other day. I was reading a comment someone wrote, and they were talking about how they had got an email from someone, and it was an important email, and they started to think about it. So they didn't respond right away because they wanted to think about it. And then a few days went by, and then it was like 6 days, and so they didn't want to respond because 6 days seemed rude, so then they just didn't say anything. And someone else commented on their comment just saying, yeah, that's called being a flake. And it's kind of true. The reality is, people will judge you by your actions. The world does not care how you feel. It does not care what you think. It cares about what you do. Now, I say that as someone who cares about what you feel. When you don't email me back for 3 days, I probably know why. If I know your personality type, I probably understand what's going on in your brain, what's going on emotionally. And personally, as an empathetic person, I care. And if you're one of my friends and I know you're more introverted and maybe emotional, and you skip one of my parties, I'm not judging you because I know probably what's going on in your head. I know maybe the pattern or the process that's going on with you. And so I totally understand that. And yet I will still say this. It's so critical to realize, ultimately, the world judges you by your actions, not your thoughts and not your feelings. And the reason that happens is that's all other people can go by. Listen, if I send you an email and you don't respond for a week because any number of things are going on, but you never tell me about those, you never let me into your world, what am I supposed to do? Go up into my spaceship, beam down into your head, read your emotional state? No, I'm gonna judge you as flaky or unreliable. And I gotta be honest, as much as I understand my fellow ENFPs and our similar types like INFPs, and as much as I have been the person who's been flaky in the past, who's been unreliable, who hasn't gotten back to people by email, I totally empathize with you if that's your situation. And I have zero hostility. But if I'm talking to someone about a partnership or working together or even being their coach, and I see that behavior, I usually write them off, because ultimately that's what I have to go by with your behavior, right? If I'm thinking about coaching someone, I care about your ability to get results. If I work with you and you aren't able to follow through and you aren't able to achieve what it is you want to achieve when you hire me, that reflects on me. But more than that is, it's frustrating, because if I work with you, I'm so invested in your success that if you don't get there, it's going to hurt me as well. And so even in my case, someone who totally understands why people might not respond to an email or skip an event, or when people go through ups and downs and highs and lows, I totally understand that. And even I ultimately come down to often judging people by their actions, and not even their words, but especially not their feelings. Now, here's something that I found really interesting with myself, is when I started thinking this way more with myself, I noticed a big difference. Judging myself by my actions and not my feelings. Because if you expect other people to judge you by your feelings or by what emotion you had and not what you did, you know, you expect other people to excuse you skipping a meeting or being late to something because of how you felt, then you're definitely going to expect that of yourself too, right? You're definitely going to be really laid back with your own judgment of your own behavior. You're like, yeah, I felt this way, who cares, whatever. And what I found with myself is when I started judging myself more by my actions and just getting out of my own head and saying, you know, talking to myself like a crazy person, but saying, hey, Dan, shut up. Either do it or don't, you know, getting all Yoda on myself, right? Do or do not, there is no try. And just say to myself, listen, focus on the action. Sometimes in the morning when I go off to a cafe to do some work, I don't want to go. I would love to sit on the sofa. And occasionally I do, and I put off going to the cafe. But what I've learned to do is get out of my head, get out of the emotion and just say, Dan, put your shoes on and show up, right? Just show up. And that's my takeaway for you here, is my own experience. I have found that focusing on my actions and on showing up has allowed me to become a lot more reliable and to be someone that people can count on. And that's what I'm going to leave you with, is just show up. If you have a meeting, show up. If you need to respond to an email, just send anything. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be masterful. Just send a reply. That's your email version of showing up, if you will. And start looking at your actions and not your feelings, and being a little bit harder on yourself. I'm not saying beat yourself up, but look at what you do and not what you feel and not what you think or what even you say. Look at what you do. And I have a feeling that when you start looking at what you do, you're going to start doing more, and you're going to lean towards becoming more of the person you want to be, and being someone that other people can count on, that other people respect, and ultimately that other people want to work with and spend their time with. Now, that is just about as much stern father figure advice as I can give in a day, so let's end the video there. If you're new to the channel, by the way, my name is Dan, if I missed that in the beginning. This is Dreams Around the World, and I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, all about helping you become your best self and creating the most awesome life for you and those you love. And usually, it's a little more upbeat and positive, but I had to play some bad cop here. I think it's a really important lesson and something that can make a huge difference in your life. Thank you for watching. Do hit that subscribe button if you are new here, and hit the bell, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Ciao.